Welcome to Magnificent Mogul, the brand that promotes entrepreneurs in association with LBC, the network. I'm your host, Daymond, Lavine, and today I have with me Miss Anita Hawkins.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm awesome.
Anita is a well-versed entrepreneur. She has succeeded in modeling, philanthropy, authorship, and she's now a thriving lifestyle expert extraordinaire. Anita has also been a land developer who has succeeded with Troker Industries. That's her company that was recently acquired by D.R. Horton. So we're gonna delve right into it. Anita, you ready to get started?
I'm ready, always ready.
Fantastic. So Anita, thank you. Thank you so much for becoming a part of the Magnificent Mogul brand. I'm excited about this interview. I'm excited about knowing who you are since we initially got started with our friendship.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem. And you know what? I just want to start from the very beginning.
Okay.
With your beginnings in Gary, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that your road to entrepreneurialism started with your grandmother. She owned a hair salon,
mm-hmm.
and then you inherited that hair salon, correct?
Correct.
Can you take me through that experience? Tell me, what was that like, just falling into entrepreneurialism so early?
Well, I've been raised in the hair care field my entire life. My grandmother had an etiquette school, she had a beauty college, and then had a barber school as well.
Okay.
So that was something that I knew, but that wasn't something that I wanted to do.
It's interesting you say that.
I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Got you.
So when my grandmother passed away, I had already had my son as I was a teen mom. I had my son when I was 15.
Okay.
So when, with that being said, I said, well, my grandmother left it, and she left it for me for a reason.
Right.
So I said, well, let me switch gears and figure out what I want to do. And I graduated high school. And at the time, I was still working in the salon and, trying to help here and there, shampoo girl, and just trying to, stay abreast of what was going on in the salon, the gossip and everything else that goes on. A little girl always want to be nosy.
Right.
But I ended up going into hair school. I got a grant to go to hair school. And it was probably the worst experience from the beginning.
Well, really, what happened?
Well, working with women was something that I wasn't accustomed to doing because I owned the salon.
Right.
So I didn't have to, deal hands-on with everyone on a consistent basis.
Gotcha.
So being on the shop floor when we had customers to come in and you're dealing with different females, so you got about, 30, 40 females that you're dealing with different attitudes.
Gotcha.
And I said, well, can I just take the class time and then can I take my customers to a private room? They said, well, Anita, that's not real life. You're going to have to do this in a salon. I said, no, I have my own salon.
Right.
So,
right.
But I got accustomed to it, and because I knew so much and I learned so much early on, I was able to help with, other students that needed instruction with hair care and cutting and coloring because I knew it, prior to.
So you became a resource to the people around you.
Yeah.
Well, another question that I wanted to ask you is because you were so young, it seemed like, there would have been some reluctance to taking on a business, especially one as big as that, so early on. Was that hard and difficult? Because I know when people are embarking on entrepreneurial journeys,
mm-hmm.
they have a hard time dealing with so much responsibility. Did you go through that sort of an ordeal?
No, because I saw my father. He had a dealership.
Okay.
He had so many side jobs.
Got you.
Always doing some of everything, and my grandmother was involved in so much.
Got you.
So I knew pretty much what to do, how to fall in line, how to, things of not to do, of course.
Right.
But running a business, it was pretty simple because the blueprint was already there.
Okay.
Everything was there, so it was just a matter of, of course, giving ideas. But you have a lot of the ladies that were there from the time I was knee-high to a grasshopper that worked in the salon, and they're like, we're used to the things the way they are.
Got you.
So when we took out like no smoking in the salon, they were accustomed back in the day.
Yeah.
You can sit and smoke in the salon.
Right.
I said, it's time to change.
Right,
it's time
right.
to, become current with the current events.
Got you.
No more smoking in the salon, the phones, and coming in looking like a hairstylist.
Got you.
There were some people come in, with combs in their hair and, just roll out the bed like, okay, I'm coming to get styled. But that's, you want to portray, you want to look like you're a walking billboard for your own business.
Okay.
This is your business. You don't have monopoly over your clients. They can pick up and go wherever they want to go. But you want to come in on time.
Okay.
You want to make sure your clients are happy and pleased with you as their stylist, because it's not just doing hair.
Right, okay.
You want to know how to want to learn, and not just standing behind a chair doing hair, but educating your clients and learning what's going on in the industry.
And also embodying the whole look.
Mm-hmm.
So is that how you transition, I guess, from hair salon owner to high fashion model? Was that kind of like your segue into the modeling?
Well, I began modeling when I was 4.
Really?
My grandmother had me involved in everything.
Gosh,
she was, my grandmother was Sigma Gamma Rho.
Okay.
So everything, if they had a fashion show, and she crocheted. So she made all of my dresses.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was anything that was going on, grandmother had me in it.
So you've always been well accustomed to the fashion and style industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about your experience as a land developer. Now, I think that's an interesting twist, going from fashion to land development with Troker Industries. Tell us about that transition.
Well, that was something I was thrown into.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I hired a builder because I said I wanted to build my dream home here in Prosper. And I went and I searched. I went to all the Parade of Homes and I searched out so many different builders. Mm-hmm. And I went and I looked in one of the homes and I started looking around and I said, okay, symmetrics on point. This and I'm just looking at everything, and I went to a few of his previous homes that he had built, and I talked to the customers.
Got you.
Because of course I want to get references. I want to know everything about this builder.
Yeah.
And they were all happy and pleased with his work. So I went back to the Parade of Homes when it was closed. It was closing up, everybody was leaving. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm looking for the builder of this home. And one of the ladies said, she said, that's him standing right there, but he doesn't want anyone to know. Of course, he's just standing around trying to see what people are saying. Yeah. So I waited till everyone closed out, and I told him, I said, I've done my research, and I want you to build my dream home. And I rolled out the plans. I said, I have my own plans already. He said, are you serious? And I said, yes, I have everything laid out. He said, well, how do you know how to do that?
Right.
Well, my he did carpentry and plumbing, electrical, so I've learned, a little bit just being in the field. So he said, well, I'll build the house for you. But I said, I have a basement. He's never done a basement before. I said, I've already found the company that's going to build.
Texas, it would be strange.
Right. And he said, well, you can't have a basement in Texas.
Right.
And I said, yes, I can. I have a 22-foot drop from the street to the back easement. Right. So it's a fall off, so we don't have to worry about flooding or anything.
Got you.
He said, wow, you've really done your research. I said, yeah, when I purchased the property, I did my research. And my dad and I had already researched the company. It was called Polysteel. That's the name of the product. And to build the walls of the basement. So my basement is almost basically a storm shelter.
Gotcha.
It's 100% concrete from the floor, the wall, ceiling. And he said, okay, so we can do it. Well, we had an agreement, we had a handshake that he wasn't gonna do any other Parade of Homes, any other projects, because he had never done a house of this size.
Got you, okay.
And he agreed, but he didn't keep his word. So I'll say to this day, he's a great builder, but not a good businessman.
And where you saw his failure, you saw your opportunity.
Right.
Gotcha.
I came in one day, and every time I came in, of course, you're excited because, oh my God, my dream home. This is everything that I've asked for, everything that, everything that I've envisioned. And to walk in and he wasn't there, and walk in again and he's still not there. So, oh no, some tricky is going on. Find out that his brother is my super now, who was a former car salesman that knows nothing about construction.
Oh no, that's not good. That's not good.
So I'm around blue taping the walls, and I'm saying, okay, this is not right, that's not right. Oh, we can float that out. I said, if you say float one more time, it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
I said, well, I'll be back tomorrow. You let Mr. Steve know that he needs to be here. when I get here.
Gotcha.
He wasn't there. So I fired everyone out of the house. I just started screaming through the house, everybody get out.
Right.
Then that's when I heard from him.
I would think so.
So he said he was suing me for breach of contract. I said, well, you're already in breach of contract, so I'm suing you. I fought him for 6 years. Within that first year and a half, the house set. Well, it was the frame, it set. But that was when I acquired my license as a builder. And I said, you know what, I don't have to sit back and take this. I said, well, I can do this myself.
Right.
So of course I had to hire back everyone that came in to start the project, and he hadn't paid anybody.
Wow.
So I had to pay everybody again out of pocket and keep fighting him for the next 6 years.
Oh my God.
Until I was able to acquire those. And I said, you forgot. I said, you don't know me. I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
Before everything else, I said, all of my I's are dotted and every T is crossed. I said, oh, I'm gonna fight you to the bloody end.
Right.
And I won.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, and that was how the whole thing came into fruition as far as the project with Trocar. Everyone saw, well, it was different people that were coming. They said, oh my goodness, you built this house. I had a lady that came with plans for a 20,000 square. Can you build my home? No, ma'am. I don't want to. No, I'm not interested.
Right.
So then I had people, different contractors come to me about land development. And that was when I ended up acquiring Hawk Ridge.
Wow.
It was 32 lots.
Gotcha.
And everything, the streets and everything were laid out. The plots, for 32, everything was laid out,
So
ready
that
to
was
go.
pretty much an opportunity you can pass up. 'Cause
Right.
And
then I bought some
I don't
oil
blame you.
wells and bought some other property and everyone. And I said, well, how are you finding me? You ask me, well, how are you finding me? Oh, it's just word of mouth. And I said, okay, well, obviously it's good word, so I'll go with that.
Definitely.
But Hawk Ridge was an awesome project.
Gotcha.
And it was something that I wanted to continue to do, but then that was when Fresh Healthy Café fell into my lap.
Okay.
And I said, I know I can't do both.
Yeah.
So
you have to balance.
Right. So I said, I know I can't do both. So what I'll do is I'll, get one or the other. So
Right.
I went ahead and sold Hawk Ridge to D.R. Horton.
Okay. So I know you're a franchise owner, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but I want to talk to you about your book, because you
Okay.
have a book. So tell us about your book, The Storm After the Storm.
The
Tell us
Storm
about
After the
that,
Storm
yeah.
is based on my life. The character in the book, her name is Ere, which means storm.
Okay.
So it's who she is after a life storm of events.
So it's a little bit of you and her?
A whole lot of me and her. Because a lot of people didn't know until the book that I had gone through child molestation from the time I was in the 2nd grade until I was in the 5th or 6th grade. And it was just a lot of things to come from a home where you have both parents and to have all of that going on and people don't know. And that's why I have so much, when people say, well, what's the takeaway? There's so many points in the book. It talks about teen pregnancy. It talks about rape. It talks about abortion. It talks about parents being more attentive to their children.
Yeah.
It talks about forgiveness.
Got you.
It talks about mastering your storms
Right.
and not allowing those storms to dictate who you are or who you're going to be or what your future is going to be.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad you had so many points to talk about when it comes to that book, because to me it's a no-brainer, something like that is definitely so inspirational, and I'm actually glad that you're sharing that, with
Yeah.
Magnificent Mogul. That's a
Yeah.
message that needs to go out
Oh,
there
yeah.
to the masses. Your endeavors are so widely varied. You've worked in so many different areas. I'm sure that you are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to lessons learned. What are some lessons learned that you have to share?
Learning how to say no.
Okay.
Not thinking that you can do it all.
Gotcha.
I've also learned that there is power in relationships. That was something that I, veered away from because I was fearful of being hurt. I was fearful of constantly being burned
Gotcha.
from people that you try and help,
Right,
because it's
yeah.
it's in me to be there for other people because I know what it is to be without. So anytime I see a woman that needs to be uplifted or empowered, I run, you know, to their rescue. But sometimes people need to be a help in their own rescue.
That's right. That's right.
So that's something that I've learned. And also, again, to forgive and love when you're getting nothing out of it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Anita, so we're here on location at Fresh Healthy Café. Beautiful, beautiful space, beautiful restaurant. I'm happy to be here. What was your motivation for opening Fresh Healthy Café?
Well, I always wanted to open up a restaurant.
Gotcha.
It was nothing fresh.
You didn't have enough to do?
No, but I bought property. I still have property here on Preston Road.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to have a restaurant. And I had the name, I had everything laid out, but it wasn't healthy.
Gotcha.
It was fat and greasy and everything else to go along with that. But in 2012, I became ill.
Okay.
Very ill.
Got you.
And I was laying in bed, and my brother came in, and he said, Nita, he said, sis, you all right? And I said, I don't think so. And I could barely lift my head above my shoulders.
Ooh.
And my fingers had curled under, my toes had curled under.
Gosh, okay.
And he said, well, I'm gonna call Miss Carmel. It's my girlfriend who lives around the corner. She's like a sister to me. And she came to the house and she got me dressed because I couldn't do anything. I was slumped over.
Wow.
And she took me to the ER.
Okay.
And they asked if I had been abused. And I said, abused? No, I'm here. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I can't do anything. Well, you know, the ER, they just give you a whole bunch of medicines and stuff. Yeah. Well, I ended up finding an internal medicine specialist. And I said, I want tests run on everything. Whatever blood test is out there, I want it because I need to find out what's wrong with me.
Gotcha.
Well, that's when I found out that I was diagnosed with thalassemia.
Okay.
And thalassemia is where I don't produce the same hemoglobin everybody else does.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a blood disease?
Right. My oxygen levels are always at an all-time low.
Gotcha.
And she said, well, there's nothing we can do about it. This is something you were born with. Mm-hmm. And it's just finally shown its face that you have literally run your body to the ground.
Then that would be a problem for someone so driven like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, she said you have run your body to the ground, and the only thing you can do, the only option that you have is to have a bone marrow transplant or a blood transfusion. And I said, well, I don't know about either one of those because I know a blood transfusion that puts your liver in the shock, and bone marrow transplant, I said, that's not in the books for me.
Right.
So I said, I'm just gonna make a total lifestyle change. And I always ate pretty healthy because I was vegan for 2.5 years. And from that point, when I went to the doctor in 2012, that's when she put me on meat. She said, you gotta go back to meat. You're not getting enough protein. Okay. So, you know, the vegetarian diet was back out the window. But I said, okay, I'll make a total lifestyle change because I'm not claiming all that other stuff that she says that I have to do. But then we also found out that I was allergic to everything in Texas, from the grass, the trees, the shrubs, everything. Yeah. And it's all on my property at my house. Yeah. So right now I have, at the time when I left the doctor, I had 2 breathing machines, 2 inhalers, and a gallon-sized bag of meds.
So they loaded you up.
They loaded me up with everything. Okay. So I couldn't go outside below 60 degrees. Because I couldn't inhale the air because, of course, I couldn't replenish the oxygen fast enough. Right. And I had to go and have treatment every week until I was back to normal. So right now, even just walking up a flight of stairs, no matter how in shape or how physically fit I think I am, I'll never be at 100%. Right. So that is when I started researching healthy restaurants. And this kept falling into my lap. Again, a year later, it fell into my lap. I said, okay, well, let me see, because computers, they follow your keystrokes.
They do, yeah.
So
all those nice pop-ups.
Right, all those, exactly. So I ended up getting the information on the company, and I sent it to my brother who was in Florida, and he's a nutritionist and trainer. As you can see, when you came in, you saw weights and stuff like that. Yeah. But he's a trainer and nutritionist in Florida. So he said, well, let me check it out. He checked it out, and he found a Fresh that was like 3 hours away from him. Okay. He drove there and worked a shift. Wow. And I said, okay, what you think? What's your thoughts? He said, I think it's good. I said, so okay, so when you moving to Texas? He's like, moving to Texas? I said, yeah, because you got to help me get this started. It has to make sense.
Right.
I said, when people come in, they need someone that knows, what's in the food, what's in the supplements, how does it work, I just need your, right. I said, I need your face, I need your energy, I need you here. So he was the one that, helped me get everything started and off the ground with Fresh Healthy Café.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like the fact that you mentioned here that you did the research and you focused on your diet. I think sometimes people don't really understand how powerful that really is.
Yeah.
If you're ill, you can go to the doctor, but ultimately you are the one that know,
change starts.
Problem is.
Yeah, change starts with you. It does.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think that people, and I don't like the word diet.
Yeah.
It's a total lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Because it's your water intake, it's your food, because you cannot outwork your diet. I don't care how much, working out you do, you can't outwork the mess that you eat.
Right.
So, like if you go out there, you see my rug that's out there, and my slogan is you put out what you put in.
Got you.
If you put in garbage, you're gonna put out garbage.
That's right.
So, and that's not just, what you take in for food, that's spiritually, it's mentally, it's the things that you hear, the things that you speak, everything, you put out what you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the philanthropy that you're involved with. Tell us about some of your organizations that you donate to.
I donate to Minnie's Food Pantry.
Okay.
I donate to the Source of Hope. Who else? Where Are You? Which is a homeless organization. They're all for the homeless.
Gotcha.
And another organization is Women Called Moses,
okay,
which helps families, women and children, and also men that are victims of domestic violence.
Okay.
I also send students to college through the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
Oh wow, good for you.
I think that's probably about it. I work with juvenile diabetes, work with them for a number of years.
What's your selection criteria for your
Well, it's not necessarily I wouldn't say a criteria, but and I also, I sit on the committee for St. Jude.
Got you, okay.
A lot of people, and I mean, people can say what they want to say. I'm not a fan of the cancer walks.
Okay.
I never have been.
Okay.
And it's only because I believe if I'm going to do a walk, I want to make sure that money is going to that family.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
I don't want it to go into the pockets of, CEOs and all of that. If I want to see my dollars work.
Yeah.
I want to know what it's going towards. And there are no cancer institutes that people, women and men and children can go for free.
Got you. Okay.
St. Jude, on the other hand, the children go for free. They house the families for free.
Got you. Okay.
Everything is for free. The families don't see a check, a bill. They don't see anything.
Right.
So that right there, I was like, oh, that's it.
Because you can see, the direction
of the
dollars.
Of the dollars, exactly. So that made the difference for me. And even when I tell people now about St. Jude, I was like, shoot, I need to change my organization.
Yeah.
I said, you sure do. Come on, get on board.
Yeah.
So I began doing the walk for St. Jude some years ago. And because I had raised so many dollars towards St. Jude, their director called me and said, we want you to be in our committee. Mm-hmm. And I said, really? They said, yeah, because you raise a lot of money for St. Jude, and you're not even a part of, the organization in itself, but we want you to be a part.
And that makes you even closer to the organization,
right?
So you can see where things are going.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'm over the entertainment for St. Jude.
Got you.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it.
Anytime you give back, I mean, it helps to round out your life, to make you definitely feel like you're somebody in society.
Yeah, and even with the Source of Hope, we feed the homeless every fourth Saturday of every month. Mm-hmm. And I go and prep food, and that's when I talk about, even when I'm speaking on panels, when we're in the hair care field or fashion industry, I can talk about so many different things. But I talk about turning my passion into profit and back into passion.
Okay.
So I was doing hair for money, well, of course, doing it for free, and then going into a salon and getting paid for it. But now I go and I give it to the homeless for free.
Gotcha,
So I go and cut hair every fourth Saturday in Dallas.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, at Cornerstone Church. I go out there with the homeless and I just love on them, and we just really have a good time. So we feed them first, get the bellies full,
That's awesome.
and then make them look good. yeah. So yeah.
Well, Anita, you're fantastic. You are the perfect rounded out entrepreneur with all of the things that you can say that you checked off the list. So all of those things have culminated to this moment. You're here on Magnificent Mogul, and you are a lifestyle expert extraordinaire.
Yes.
Define that for us. What does that mean, and where are you headed in that area of your life?
Well, for me, it means that I have worked in so many different areas of life, and I have quite a few done did it's.
Got you.
So I can answer questions.
Got you.
I can give people real answers to different issues. And if I don't have the answer, I can definitely find it.
Got you. Okay.
And with me, as far as when people say, well, lifestyle expert, okay, well, what lifestyle are you talking about, and what are you expert in? Well, I don't have a degree. Everything that I've learned has been
It's real.
a part of the life. It's been, out in the streets, or it's been, whether it's in the street, whether it's in the office, whether, it's just whatever, just being in the field of whatever it is that I've done over a period of years.
Gotcha.
I've learned everything hands-on, and that's what I want people to learn. I have women and men that inbox me on Instagram, Facebook, that don't think that I'm gonna answer their call. I talked to a young lady from New Orleans, and she said, I just need some information. I need to talk to you. I said, okay, let's talk. Put my headphones on. I was in the kitchen cooking, and I talked to her for about 2 hours.
That's fantastic that you can even find time to do that, and you are dedicated to doing that. I think.
But
that's awesome.
I don't mind doing it, and I don't charge anybody for it.
Yeah.
It's, if God gave it to me, if He gave me the experience, and I have the information to share, why not?
Exactly. So you're just paying it forward. You're basically paying the lessons forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Anita, that brings me to the fun question. So I know you have worked in fashion and modeling. Who's your favorite fashion model?
That would be me.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, when I step on the runway, and it's so funny that you add that was one of the questions. Because my sister came here to Texas to see me model for the first time. She had never seen me model, and she said, I don't know who that was. On that stage, I don't know who that was.
Oh, I feel your energy. I know when you get on stage, it's just a burst like the sunshine.
I said, oh yeah, her name is Reign Supreme.
Okay.
That's my runway. And she said that, you know what? That's a good name. I'm not gonna say anything else. That's a good name. I said, but Reign Supreme, yes. When I step on the runway, when I put my heels on, I think that I'm 5'7", and I'm about a size 4 or 6.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be a 2.
Right.
Maybe a 6.
Right. Well, all heard of Anita. So I'm so happy that you were here on Magnificent Mogul, participating in the brand. You've had so much great things to say, and I'm glad I'm able to share them and have this conversation with you. So, once again, I'm happy to be here at Fresh Healthy Café.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. Thank you again for having me.
Not a problem. So, Anita, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, they can reach me on Instagram, AEH Fashion, Facebook, Anita Hawkins. My website is AnitaEHawkins.com or findonereasontosmile.com.
Gotcha. That's it.